The Queen of Nexus Prime was furious. Every elite alien warrior, every genetically enhanced soldier, every cybernetic champion had failed her royal test. Then, out of pure boredom, she pointed at the one person nobody noticed, a human janitor quietly mopping the floor. The court gasped. He wasn't supposed to touch the test, let alone survive it. But when the human moved, the impossible began to look inevitable. And by the end of that day, the galaxy's view of mankind would never be the same again. If you love stories where humans outthink, outfight, and outshine the galaxy's greatest, hit that like button, subscribe for more HFY Sci-Fi stories every week, and share this one with someone who still believes humanity's just average. Because by the end of this story, you'll see why we're anything but. Let's dive in. The throne room of Nexus Prime shimmered like a cathedral made of light and crystal. Columns of plasma arched high overhead, pulsing with soft blue energy. At the center sat Queen Leora, her expression carved in equal parts beauty and boredom. For 6 relentless hours she had watched warrior after warrior, the galaxy's finest, fail her royal test. Each had sworn loyalty to her crown. Each had promised to prove the Vanguard's honor. And each had been crushed by the challenge. Now another armored giant knelt before her. His voice boomed with pride. "I am Krell, son of Morath, champion of the Eastern Quadrant." Leora sighed. "They all sound the same." "Begin," she said, waving one elegant hand. With a thunderous hiss, the floor reshaped itself into a lethal gauntlet of shifting platforms, energy fields, and drones. Krell launched himself forward, rockets flaring, muscles surging, but the outcome was already written. The disruptors hit, his armor spasmed. The mighty champion hit the floor with a metallic scream. Test failed. Leora exhaled, long and slow. "The Vanguard," she murmured, "isn't what it used to be." Silence fell. Even the air seemed to hesitate. And that's when she noticed movement in the corner. A human janitor, quietly mopping the polished obsidian tiles. He hadn't spoken a word all day, hadn't even looked up. Just cleaned, thorough, efficient, invisible. Leora tilted her head, curious. A human. Of course, the fragile species that somehow keeps surviving wars they shouldn't win. Something mischievous sparked in her. "You there," she called, her voice echoing through the hall. "Human, come forward." The man froze mid-swipe. Slowly, he turned. He was tall by human standards, lean-muscled, dark-haired. His green eyes flicked between the guards and the queen, measuring every escape route. "Me, your majesty?" he asked carefully. "Yes, you," Leora said, descending the marble steps like a predator circling prey. "What's your name?" "Jack Harper, ma'am." "Janitor Harper," she corrected, a teasing lilt in her tone. "You've been watching these warriors fail all day. Think you could do better?" A ripple of laughter ran through the court. The High Counselor whispered urgently, "Your Majesty, that's highly irregular." Leora finished for him, eyes glinting. "I know. That's why it's interesting." She reached out and pinched the man's shoulder just lightly, a royal jest meant to humiliate. "Perhaps you'd like to try." Jack blinked. "Try the royal test? Unless you're refusing a direct order from your queen." Her smile dared him to say no. Every instinct screamed at him to decline. But then he saw the amused contempt in the alien's eyes, the silent assumption that humans were toys, not equals. Something inside him hardened. "No, your majesty," he said quietly. "I accept." Gasps filled the chamber. Leora leaned back on her throne, suddenly intrigued. "Begin." The chamber reconfigured again, walls shifting, traps arming, drones humming. Jack stepped onto the platform and removed his gloves. His hands trembled, but his eyes didn't. Unlike the warriors before him, he didn't rush in. He just looked, studying angles, light reflections, rhythm of moving panels. "Is he just standing there?" someone whispered. Then he moved. Smooth, precise, deliberate. Instead of smashing through barriers, he slipped between them. When an energy grid flared to life, he crouched, timed the pulses, and rolled under. His movements were quiet, efficient, the way only someone used to cleaning up other people's messes could be. The first drone descended. Jack didn't fight it. He used it, sidestepping just in time for its plasma burst to hit a trap sensor. The explosion cleared his path forward. In the royal box, Leora's fingers tightened on her throne. "He's learning," she whispered. "He's analyzing the system," muttered High Counselor Thra, awe creeping into his voice. "He's reading the targeting lights, predicting every shot." Jack's pace quickened. His breath came sharp, steady. The neural disruptor zone flared ahead, the section that had crippled every alien before him. He hesitated, then advanced. The disruptors hummed, but Jack didn't fall. He grimaced, slowed but kept moving, his human neural patterns too irregular for the scanners to predict. Sweat glistened on his skin. Each step looked impossible. In the silence, Leora's heart beat faster. "How is he doing that?" "Humans," Thra said softly, "don't fit neatly into our equations." By the time Jack reached the final stretch, the court was no longer mocking. They were staring. He used fallen drones as stepping stones, redirected beams using reflective panels, and climbed toward the sacred relic at the end. Just before he could touch it, a voice thundered from the entrance. "Stop the test!" The chamber froze. General Dravix strode in, armor gleaming, voice heavy with command. "This mockery ends now," he declared. "A human has no right to touch the sacred relic." Leora's expression cooled. "You interrupt a royal proceeding, General." "With respect, Your Majesty," he said stiffly. "Letting a human complete the test would disgrace the Vanguard. The political fallout would be severe." Leora studied him, then Jack, mere steps from victory. The weight of protocol pressed against the spark of curiosity in her chest. Finally, she sighed. "Very well. The test is concluded." The relic dimmed. Jack stood motionless, chest heaving, eyes unreadable. As the crowd dispersed in murmurs, Leora descended once more and stopped before him. "You are full of surprises, Jack Harper." "Just doing what I was told, Your Majesty," he replied softly. Her lips curved, equal parts amusement and something else entirely. "I wonder what else you can do." For the first time that day, the Queen of Nexus Prime smiled, and the fate of two worlds began to change. By morning, the palace of Nexus Prime buzzed like a nest of hornets. A human janitor had nearly passed the royal test, a feat that no alien warrior had achieved in generations. Whispers filled the marble corridors. Some called him lucky, others called him dangerous, and one man, General Dravix, called him a threat that had to be eliminated. So when the Queen convened her council that afternoon, the trap was already set. "Your Majesty," Dravix began, his voice heavy with false respect, "we have discovered evidence that the human, Jack Harper, accessed a restricted terminal in the royal archives." The crowd murmured. Jack stood in the center of the chamber, unarmed but unflinching. "I was cleaning," he said. "The console was already active. I logged out, nothing more." Dravix's sneer cut through the air. "And yet the logs show he searched for details of your test, Your Majesty. Curious, isn't it?" Leora's expression wavered. Doubt flickered. Then she hid it beneath the practiced calm of a ruler. "Explain," she demanded. Before Jack could answer, the chamber doors parted again. Prince Navar of the Thalassian Confederation entered, draped in royal violet and arrogance. His eyes gleamed like polished knives. "A human servant studying the royal test," he said smoothly, "and then nearly defeating it? Suspicious indeed. Perhaps a spy. Or worse." Dravix's smirk widened, but Jack simply met Navar's gaze and said, "If you think I cheated, prove it." The prince's smile hardened. "Gladly. I challenge you, human, to the trial of honor." The court gasped. Even the Queen rose from her throne. "Prince Navar," she said sharply, "you know the trial is a death match. Then let the human prove his innocence, Navar said, bowing mockingly. Or die pretending. Jack hesitated only a moment. Then, I accept. Leora's breath caught. He could have refused. He could have begged. But humans never do what's expected. The next day, the grand arena overflowed with spectators. 30,000 voices thundered as the human entered, wearing only a light combat suit. Across from him, Prince Navar gleamed in ornate armor, weapon in hand, confident and cruel. High above, Queen Leora sat rigid in her throne, every muscle tight. She had ordered the arena's cameras to record everything. Something in her heart told her she might need proof. The officiator's voice boomed. Round 1, shock staffs. Twin rods crackled with blue lightning. Navar attacked first, swinging with brute force. Sparks flew. Each hit sent shockwaves down Jack's arms. He ducked, rolled, took another hit to the ribs. Pain seared, but he learned. When Navar swung again, Jack dropped low and rolled under his legs, striking the back of the prince's knees. The alien crashed forward, his own weapon discharging into the ground with a blast of energy. The arena went silent. Round 1, to the human, the officiator stammered. Leora exhaled sharply, hands trembling with something halfway between fear and pride. Second round, Navar snarled, humiliated. Gravity gauntlets. As he slipped them on, the air hummed with tension. Jack could barely move when the field hit him. The weight of an invisible mountain crushed his shoulders. The crowd roared as he fell to one knee. Navar's voice carried over the chaos. You are insects pretending to be gods. Jack's teeth clenched. Funny, he gasped. We've been told that before. With a surge of will, he raised his right arm. He didn't know how the alien tech worked, but he learned fast. He triggered his own gauntlet and gravity flipped. The ground under Navar softened like foam, sending the prince sprawling. In that single heartbeat, Jack struck, a perfect human punch backed by 10 times Earth gravity. Navar hit the wall with a sound like thunder. The crowd exploded. Before the officiator could declare victory, a royal voice rang out, "Stop the trial!" Every eye turned. Queen Leora stood, holding a glowing data crystal. By royal authority, she said, her voice steady, I end this trial, on grounds of conspiracy. The arena screens flickered. Footage played, Dravix and Navar, in a secret meeting the night before, plotting to frame Jack. Fasps filled the stands. Guards surrounded Dravix instantly. Navar staggered to his feet, face pale with fury. You'd take his word over mine? I take the truth, Leora said coldly. And the truth is that this human showed more honor than either of you. Then she turned to the crowd. Let all of Nexus Prime witness this. Jack Harper, human, has proven courage, intelligence, and heart. Qualities my people once revered and must learn to respect again. She extended her hand to him. He took it. The human janitor standing beside a queen, as 30,000 alien voices thundered his name. Weeks later, the Grand Council gathered again, this time to celebrate. Queen Leora stood beside Jack, no longer a janitor but Ambassador Harper, humanity's first official representative to Nexus Prime. Where once he cleaned the floor, now he helped rewrite history. In her address, Leora's voice carried through the chamber. This human taught us that strength is not born of genetics or technology. It is born of will. Humanity, small and fragile as they seem, have reminded us what courage truly means. Jack smiled beside her, murmuring, Not bad for a janitor. Leora smirked. You'll always be my favorite one. They shared a look that told the whole story, of defiance, of unity, of two species forever changed. And somewhere out there in the stars, the galaxy began to whisper a new legend. Humans. They don't just survive. They make the impossible look easy. So, what did you think of that one? A janitor, just a regular human, outthinking alien warriors, surviving a deathmatch and exposing a royal conspiracy. That's the essence of HFY. Humanity, Phi. Yeah. It's not just about muscles or firepower. It's about what makes us us. Creativity, stubbornness, that spark that refuses to die even when the odds are impossible. If you felt that thrill, if this story reminded you that being human is something worth being proud of, go ahead and hit that like button right now. It really helps more people find these stories. Subscribe for the next Humanity versus the Galaxy tale. And trust me, they only get wilder from here. Drop a comment below. What moment made you cheer for humanity the most? Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and never forget, humans don't fear the impossible. We redefine it.